Imagine opening your eyes for the first time in medieval Europe. The good news? You're alive. The bad news? You're already doomed. Welcome to the peasant class, where your future is written before you can even crawl. You'll never be a knight, never own land, and the closest you'll get to luxury is drinking watered-down ale from a wooden cup. Your job? Work the fields until your back breaks. Your reward? A bowl of soup, so thin it's basically hot water with a floating onion. Oh, and if plague, famine, or war doesn't get you, taxes will. So buckle up, because your new medieval life is about to suck in every possible way. Your life as a medieval peasant doesn't exactly start with a bang. It begins with a prayer. There are no hospitals, no doctors, no painkillers, no painkillers. Just a tired midwife, a few relatives, and a priest on standby, in case you don't make it past your first breath. And honestly, the odds aren't in your favor. Half of your brothers and sisters won't even survive childhood. A slight fever, a bad cough, or drinking dirty water is all it takes to end their story before it begins. If you do survive, congratulations, you've just won the medieval lottery. Your prize? Growing up in a mud hut, packed with your family, your chickens, and an entire army of fleas. Privacy doesn't exist. Comfort doesn't exist. Hunger? Oh, that one's always around. Forget toys, forget school. Your job as a kid is scaring birds away from crops or fetching water from the nearest stream, which is probably also the village's bathroom. And hygiene? Let's say you're not exactly getting squeaky clean. Baths? Oh, you'll take one. This year, maybe, if your parents feel fancy. By the time you're 5, you're not really a child anymore. You're just a smaller version of an adult. Already working, already struggling, already stuck. Wake up, stretch, and back to work. As a medieval peasant, there's no such thing as he has a me time. The rooster crows and you're up before the sun. You don't roll out of bed, you roll off a straw mat, itchy with lice. Breakfast. If you're lucky, it's stale bread dipped in watered-down ale. Don't even dream of coffee, that won't show up for centuries. Then it's straight to the fields. Plowing, planting, harvesting. Your body is basically a tool, and the Lord who owns the land makes sure to use it. You don't own the farm you work on. In fact, you don't own much of anything. Every sack of grain, every bundle of hay, every chicken egg, part goes to your landlord, part goes to the church, and what's left? That's all you get, which usually isn't much. And just in case you thought at least Sundays are for rest. Nope. Even your faith is work. Church isn't optional, and the priest makes sure you know your place in God's grand design. At the very bottom, entertainment? Well, there's gossip, maybe a village festival, or watching someone get punished in the town square. You haven't lived until you've seen your neighbor dragged off for stealing a loaf of bread. Spoiler, it doesn't end well. But the real kicker is this. Your life is a cycle. Work, eat, pray, sleep, repeat. Sleep, repeat. You'll live and die within a few miles of where you were born, never seeing beyond the next village. Your world is small, your body is tired, and your future is, well, let's say you don't need to plan too far ahead. Too far ahead. Just when you thought life as a peasant couldn't get any worse. Surprise, it always does. First, let's talk taxes. You work the fields from sunrise to sunset, sweat dripping, hands blistered, back broken. And then your landlord shows up and says, thanks for the wheat. I'll take most of it. The church wants its share too, because apparently God needs cash. What's left for you? A crumb. Maybe 2. Congrats. You're starving in the name of both faith and feudalism. And when famine hits, that crumb doesn't even exist. A bad harvest means no bread, no soup, and no hope. Your kids are crying, your stomach's empty, and your best shot at dinner is boiling tree bark and pretending it's stew. But famine isn't even the worst part. Nope, that honor goes to plague. Someone sneezes in the next village, and within a week, half your family is coughing, puking, and dead. When the Black Death alone wiped out 1/3 of Europe. Imagine living in a world where your neighbor's cough is a death sentence. And if hunger and disease somehow miss you, don't worry, war will find you. Lords fight over land, kings fight over crowns, and guess who gets to do the bleeding? You. If the knights don't kill you outright, they'll irrecruit you, which is a fancy word for free cannon fodder. So let's recap. You're taxed into poverty, starved by famine, killed by plague, and if you're fortunate, chopped in half during some nobleman's pointless war. A lifestyle to envy. Adulthood comes quickly when you're a medieval peasant. By the time you're 15 or 16, you're expected to marry not for love, not for choice, but because 2 low-income families can struggle together better than one. Your wedding isn't a fairy tale. There's no white gown, no music, no feast. Just a small gathering, a blessing from the priest, and then it's straight back to work in the fields. Romance, if it exists, is stolen glances between hauling buckets of water. Children arrive fast, because in a world where so many die young, you don't wait. But for every child born, there's a coin flip for survival. Fever, hunger, or an accident will take half of them before they can even speak your name. And yet, you keep trying because children aren't just family, they're survival. More hands to work the land. More chances that someone will outlive you, but the tragedy is that survival doesn't mean freedom. Your children are born into the same cycle. Mud, hunger, labor, and loss. You watch them grow with hope in your heart, knowing deep down their fate is already sealed. And when you look at your partner, worn down by years of endless toil, you realize that life has given neither of you anything close to joy, just the comfort of struggling together, until one of you is gone. If you've made it this far, past childhood diseases, past famine, past plague, you're one of the lucky ones. But survival doesn't mean peace. It just means your suffering has lasted longer. Your body begins to fail early. Years of bending in the fields twist your spine, your teeth rot from a lifetime of coarse bread, and your skin is weathered and cracked long before you're 30. In the medieval world, old age was typically defined as being over 40 years old. To live that long is rare enough that people whisper about it, as if you're some legend. But when death finally comes, it isn't gentle. Maybe it's hunger after another failed harvest. Maybe it's a fever that sweeps through the village overnight. Perhaps it's the soldiers passing through who don't see you as a person at all. There's no comfort, no dignity, no quiet farewell. Just a shallow grave in the churchyard marked with nothing more than a wooden cross that will rot away within a season. Your name is forgotten, your struggles erased, your life reduced to a handful of dirt. The truth is cruel and straightforward. As a medieval peasant, you were born into hardship, lived in hardship, and died in hardship, and died in hardship. No glory, no story, just silence. And in the end, the only thing that ever truly belonged to you was your suffering. So yeah, being a medieval peasant, absolute nightmare fuel. No Wi-Fi, no pizza, no vacations, stud, mud, misery, and maybe the occasional festival where you drink watered-down ale until you forget your life sucks. Honestly, even a hamster in a plastic cage has it better. You weren't born to live. You were born to work, suffer, and die. Also, someone richer could eat a second slice of bread. But hey, at least you got one bath a year. Silver linings, right? So what do you think? Would you rather be a medieval peasant, or would you like me to ruin another life for you? Drop it in the comments, because trust me, there are plenty more lives that suck. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share my video with others.